Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Buzinski. Today, we're going to talk about website marketing and the importance of website marketing and how to demystify the approach to website marketing. Because historically, digital marketers and marketers in general like to complicate marketing in an effort to secure their job. Is really what it comes down to. But you know, in the modern day, for a long time, it had a lot to do with creativity versus science, because marketing is a creative science. You both have to have the creativity, the problem solving, and all that good stuff that goes along with, you know, the messaging and creating things that are unique. But everything gets tested in a scientific manner. And so when we look at the scientific method, that's where we actually delineate between the amateurs and the professionals. So you have a lot of people who think they're really good at marketing. They have a knack for it, right? Everything they try to sell sells, right? But they don't know why. And they don't know what works better when they do A versus B, because they've never applied the scientific method, okay? So when I was looking to help people simplify their approach, their strategy for website marketing, because in this day and age, we have to have a website, right? 68% of all websites, or 68% of all purchases by consumers, both B2B and B2C, start with a query to a search engine, which then goes to a website. So 2/3 of all purchases are done through websites, right? So if we don't have a website, we're missing out on at least 2/3 of all the potential business in our industry and the area that we serve. So with that, we start looking at all of the things that you can look at for website marketing, right? You can search how to market a website, and you'll get 1 billion, at least, responses of websites talking about website marketing from around the world, right? In every language, okay? But where do you start, right? It's really hard for a small business that has to take care of profit and loss reports and inventory or payroll, their FICA, and all of the other numbers are out there, and they're like, oh, and I got to worry about all of the key performance indicators that track my success for my website. Not going to happen, and it doesn't, even today. The people that I show the rule of 26 sometimes, they trust those numbers, but they're the only numbers that they look at. And the only reason they look at them is because they've only given them 3 to look at. If I gave them 5, they probably wouldn't look at it, right? If we look at HubSpot is a great CRM out there, and they have a lot of tracking abilities that go with it, right? They have over 100 KPIs that you can track for your website. How many of you guys are going to look at 100 KPIs? I'm a marketer, a professional marketer, and I won't look at 100 KPIs. They don't all matter, right? If you're in e-commerce, you could go over to Shopify. They have 72 KPIs you can track on Shopify. Nobody's using those, okay? The reason is because most of those, or a lot of those KPIs are actually what we consider vanity metrics. They're metrics that help us feel good about what we're doing in our marketing. And a lot of them are only indicators of KPIs that actually move revenue, right? Because when we're marketing, what are we trying to do? We're trying to make money, trying to increase the amount of either clients we have or how much the money our current clients are spending with us. Really only 2 ways to go about it, right? There's if you when take a look at your marketing that goes to the clients you already have, you're trying to retain them or have them spend more money with you, right? And if you're dropping off clients, we're trying to keep them with us, right? So that's part of your marketing there. And then you're also trying to fill in the front end with new clients. So only 2 things that marketing does, okay? So a website is your best salesperson. We've already considered the fact that 2/3 of all purchases are going to come through your website at some point, even if it's just to legitimize or find your phone number, right? Legitimize you as a company that exists, can be touched through a website, And or where's your contact information? Is that where your contact form is? All those good things. Now, some people will say, well, you have social media. You have social media until social media tells you don't. That's a bad place to be, right? Like I mean, just in iOS 14, everybody had a field day. It was really easy to be a marketer up from between 2011 and 18? So 2019. Between those 2 years, was it 20? It might have been 20, I'm sorry. 2011, it was almost 10 years, that's right. So 2011 to 2020, really easy to be a marketer because we had third-party data that was able to grab all this information and we could use it to aggregate who we gave ads to. Made things very cheap, very effective and efficient, right? So everybody who could run the back end of any of the ad platforms could be a marketer technically. Really didn't even matter that the copy was good, if the creative was good, if the offer was good, because they were basically targeting these people over and over and over again, and all they're waiting for is that 1 in a million. And they could afford to do that because they can figure out which million they need to look at. We don't have that luxury anymore, right? And so when we're looking at people who are just relying on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok for their folks, what happens when, and this is right now being talked about in Congress, TikTok is outlawed in the United States. And you got all of your business coming from TikTok. What happens when Meta decides, we don't want to do it this way, it's gonna be a pay to play just to have an account, a business account. And they'll block anything that's commercial through a personal account. What happens when LinkedIn goes from, it used to be you could do 100 a day, now it's 100 a week. What happens when that goes down to 50 a day that you can connect with? Right? It used to be that you could post on social media and literally get about 85 to 95% of your followers would see your post. Now the average is 1.1 to 2.2% of your followers that you worked hard to get can see your post. And that's it. That's all it is. So that means you have to literally post up to 50 times to have the chance to have all of your followers see one of your messages. That's not very efficient, right? And that's why the website is so important, okay? So now we've established that we need a website, right? No, there's nobody that says we don't need a website, right? Okay, now what do we focus on, right? And that's where the Rule 26 comes in, because instead of 100 KPIs, because we need to know where we're going and we need to know what success looks like. So what I did was I boiled down as to the fewest KPIs possible that actually move the revenue needle, okay? And so with the Rule of 26, what I did was I found out that you need traffic, right? We need that traffic to convert. And we need that traffic to spend money with us. That's going to be called average revenue per client, ARPC. Okay. If we focus on these 3 KPIs right here, we will drive the revenue needle, because without traffic, we don't have any prospects. Without prospects that convert, we have no money. And if we don't have them spending enough money, they're not profitable. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. And we have somebody on, can they talk through the speaker too?
They can, yes.
They can, okay. And who do we have on the other side?
We have Ashley Coker.
Hi, Ashley. If you want to say hi.
We can't hear you over here for some reason.
Uh-oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to know.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. You keep an eye on the chat. If she has any questions, I want to make sure that we answer questions as we go. Okay. So as a recap, just because we have the crying baby outside, we have the unique traffic, the conversion rate, right? So traffic coming to the website. So these are users. Those users, a percentage of them are going to reach out to you and or purchase something off of your website, right? And your ARCP was your average revenue per client. How much money are each of these people spending with you? Okay. Now, the Rule 26 states that if we increase your unique traffic by 26% and your conversion rate by 26% and your average revenue by 26%, you're going to get a compounded output of 100% more revenue coming from your website. Pretty cool, huh? Right? Now, what if you have a website that doesn't have any traffic going to it? Or you don't have any conversions? Well, you got to start somewhere, right? So you have, usually it's just not enough traffic to know whether or not what's going on with your website as far as whether it's converting or not. And ARCP is a factor of all of this, okay? So we're going to assume that you have gotten at least one client from your website, because then you have at least something above 0 in every single one of these columns. Is that fair? Good for everyone? Good. All right. So how do we take a look at our website and do the rule of 26 so that we can start doubling up? Because remember, this is a mathematical equation. So once you've done it once, so say if you're starting with 1, okay, we're going to use 100. Okay, so say 100 people come in. Okay, right now you've got 100 people coming in. Okay, you have 2% of them converting, and on average, they're spending $100. Okay, just round numbers. Okay, so when we apply the rule of 26, what we're going to be looking to do is increase each of these by 26%. Okay, so unique traffic means that we need to go from 100 to 126. Not too bad. That's not too hard to do. Realistic, right? 2% needs to get to 2.52%. It's only 0.5% more. So one person per 200 people needs to convert, right? To get another 0.5% higher. Not too bad. Okay. Average actually is below 1. It's like 1.7% is a good conversion rate, but I use 2 because it's easier to do the math, right? Right. So we're also going to talk about how much we are increasing our revenue per client, right? And we only need them, instead of $100, to spend $126. We do this right here, just that small shift. 1, 2, 3 will equal 100% more. So if we have 100 people, we have 2 of them, they come to 200. Okay. Out of 126, 2.52 of them at $126 is going to be roughly $400 in revenue. And for the accountants in the room, do the math, it works. Okay. So pretty cool, huh? Right. So now we're going to dissect this and we're going to go backwards. Okay. We're going to start with, how do we increase our average revenue by another $26? We're going to use $100. So we have a service, you have the insurance company, right? Mm-hmm. On average, what does a client usually spend per month? On average, round numbers, fine.
We'll go 150.
Okay, so they're going to do $150, right? So we're taking this on average. This is her average. We want to attract between 150 versus that's going to be $39 more. So that's going to be 189 is our target now. That's your 26%. Okay. All right. Now, a couple different things you can do, right? Mm-hmm. Are your best clients always doing 150, or do you think your best clients are doing at least 26% more than that? No, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Out of the people that you're being here, if you called 100 of them, mm-hmm. do you think you could get 2.5 of them to spend another $39 a month on other services?
And you said half of them?
No, just 2.5.
Just 2.5, yeah.
Just 2.5 of them, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we can increase our average revenue per client with our current clients just by finding the people who love us and are looking for more. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, once we figure out what they're buying more of, we're creating a new bundle. So I'm using you as an example. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're saying, okay, so they were buying the X package that you got them in. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. But you upsold them to add another $39, right, per month, which annually comes out to 12 times that, right?
Mhm.
Then that goes over here to a Y package. Okay, now, why did they buy this? You created the value, you created the need, all the other things right there. What was the conversation that took place to get them to Y? Okay.
Okay.
And this package, this X package is probably your standard package.
Mhm.
Y isn't Y, your standard package. So when we're marketing, what we're going to do is we found out that, hey, wait a second, on average, we can get our current clients to buy actually 26% more by bundling some other things with it, adding value, right? Now, what if we took that and plugged that into what we're offering on our website? Okay. Now, instead of ever talking about X, we're always talking Y. And if they don't like Y, we downsell. It's a lot easier to downsell than an upsell, correct?
Mhm.
So we downsell to X. It's not we stop offering X, right? It's just we're going to start with Y. Because we want the average person coming from our website buying Y, because Y is 26% more than what we have been buying. Okay. So this process right here is basically finding out, do we have demand with our current clients? Who are those current clients now? Now that we've understood what they will spend, they'll spend 26% more. Okay. Who are they? What's their profile? What's their demographic? Where do they live? What's their psychographics? What are their likes, dislikes? What's their lifestyle, income, all of those things, right? What are they insuring in your case, right? But for anybody, the why is whatever you're selling. Service, product, it doesn't matter, okay? This works for everybody. So when we do that, what we're going to do is then take that information that we took from our current clients. We're not guessing here. This is a scientific process. We're not guessing with science, right? We're going to take all of that information right there, and we're going to take that and pull it over to our website. What is being said on our website? Okay, we need to be talking to these people. The worst part, when you go to insurance website, what do they usually talk about first? What does yours talk about first?
Mine talks about our veteran-owned business first, but I know that's not what typically happens on an insurance website. No, it's designed that way.
Right. Okay. So so you guys are touting who you are and what you stand for. Okay. You.
Yes.
Okay. Did you know that nobody cares who you are or what you know until they know that you care?
Yes.
But yet your website doesn't say that. Right? Why do people come to you? That's what needs to be there. Okay. Now, as a service-based business, you can only do two things. You can either solve a problem or help somebody obtain a dream. Okay. So in insurance, we have a problem. We have to insure everything. Okay. We want to reduce risk. Okay. So we want to put that out there. So if this Y package is for a certain type of person, and we focus our message to that certain type of person, we're going to be at the top of our website talking about the problems or the worries that person has. Okay. USAA says we help veteran-owned businesses or veterans who have proudly served and their families to ensure what's most important to them.
Yeah, values are huge.
That's their value, right? They sell their value, not their service. They sell what you need. They are offering the solution, and they're saying who it is. They only deal with veterans and their families, which is only what, 16, 17% of the population, but it's $1 billion company, right? So when we try to sell to everyone, everything we have, we end up selling to no one, nothing we have. So to increase our conversion rate, we need to be talking like our best clients who are willing to pay what we want to buy, or I'm sorry, we're willing to pay for what we have to offer and what our value is, right? And we need to be talking like them and identifying with them at their point of view, their worries, okay? I work with, and my website sucks at this, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna, full disclosure, we're reworking mine right now. Because we have so many things that people come to us for. we have one thing that we talk about, which is profitable marketing, but then we also spatter all these other things we have on our homepage, and we need to get rid of all of that to increase our conversion rate. But our website converts pretty much at about 2.5%. Okay, so which is good. If I get anywhere close to 3%, I'm gonna be killing it. Okay, and 26% more of 2.52 is roughly, what is that? 13, 26, another 39. So it's still under 3. Okay, so I could do this whole thing over again on my website and double up on what I'm making from my website. Okay, boom. We're gonna talk about that later. But for you guys, you're probably less than 2%. So it's not a lot of people. But just by talking to your perfect client, the people who are willing to pay you what you're worth at the price that you're setting, okay? If you talk to them, their needs, their wants, their fears, solve for the solution, or give them a solution to that issue, to that fear, to that need, to that want, right? And you show that you've done it multiple times through social proofing, right? We're talking about testimonials, case studies, any and all of those things, social proof, right? We're not just talking about it, we're being about it, and here are people talking about it for us. Our advocates say this. I want to be one of those people, okay? And where do we get those if we don't have it? Anyone?
Where do we get testimonials from?
Where do we get testimonials and case studies if we don't already have them?
We ask for them.
Right here, right here, guys. The people who you just upsold to why.
Yeah.
They're happy enough to spend more money with you. Now ask them for ... right? Now the case study is going to the discussion you had here. Susan, one of our great customers, been a client of ours for the last 2 years. We did a risk assessment with them just recently and realized that they were only 74% as insured as they should have been. We took them the other 26% and now they're 100% where they need to be. That's a case study for just insurance. Okay, for me, I have case studies on my website all over the place. Somebody comes to us for SEO. We started here, they're here now, and they've got this much traffic, ... You start doing the math and you can figure out how much money they're making. Okay, especially if you're in the industry and you know, like, we work with service-based businesses. So if they see one of their non-competitor, but in the same industry because they're in a different area, and they go, wow, they worked with let's use like a plumber. Oh, they worked with a plumber and they made 300% more traffic for them. Blah, blah, blah. So, oh, I want 300% more traffic. Okay, great, let's go. Okay, that's that kind of thing. Okay, so whatever that looks like, you're going to put that towards the bottom. Have I talked about your business yet?
What do you mean?
We talked about your business 0% of the time out of all 4 of those sections we just talked about. Problem, solution. What does it look like once we have overcome that problem with the solution, and who will advocate for us? Those are the 4 sections to talk about to increase this conversion rate. They don't care about you, they care about them. People are selfish, rightfully so. They have to survive.
That's about selfishness.
Yes, it's just the way it goes, right? You can't take care of the person next to you until you take care of yourself, right?
Yep.
So it's not a bad thing. It's just human nature. Okay, we're survivalists. We got to do that, right? And if we're shopping for a want, it's all about us. It's 100% selfish, right? If we're shopping for someone else, okay, as a consumer, we're still selfish. So what if I'm forecasting what happens after I buy something for somebody else? What am I actually forecasting?
That's the question again.
If I'm on a website that's buying, so say it's for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
okay, and I'm gonna buy roses, but these roses are very special, and I'm forecasting because I have a need, right? I have a problem. I don't have anything to give my girl, right? We have the perfect gift here at Valentine's R Us, okay? It's this box of love, okay? They're gonna love this thing. It's gonna ... The solution is the box, right? The problem is I have nothing to give. Solution is the box. The next step is to forecast. Now that you have the solution, what does it look like for
you?
Not who you're giving it to.
Oh yeah.
You're the hero. Be the hero in your Valentine's journey. right?
Mhm.
It's the person spending the money that you have to attune to.
The selfishness of altruism.
That's right. Okay. So even if somebody's giving something away, there's still nonprofit organizations, same thing, right? They're giving for a selfish reason. That sounds weird and it probably sounds negative, but it's a true thing. We get endorphins from helping other people. It's just a
Absolutely.
snapshot. It's scientific. Okay. So we need to help people, like in a nonprofit organization, we're helping people understand they're the hero. Why is it that when we say, if you just give us $26 a month, we can feed 5 families in ... They're in need, right? You're painting a portrait of a hero. I like being a hero. I'm giving you my $26. Okay. That's how we bring that conversion rate. Okay. Any questions so far? We're like 2 steps into this whole thing. And I think we're only halfway through. Yes.
No, take your time.
No, no, because we're workshopping as we go. Okay. So we've got we understand how much we're selling and we know what that package looks like. We know who we're selling it to because we got all that information from the person that we've already sold this to. We've now reorganized everything from the I, we, us to the you and your of the user, right? Traffic. We have the message where most people fail in this space here and drive this number down is by putting this number of people, the wrong number, the wrong people, sorry, I said that wrong, the wrong people of this number on this page. So then the third secret here is that we know who from who bought the why, right? Now we got to go find out where they hide and then get them, those people, to be as many of these right here to be the people that we know because we found out, right? That's how we just came to everything we said here is by understanding who we already are selling our target product to. Right?
Yep.
So we're going to take this profile, an avatar, if you will, right? That avatar right there, we're going to find out where they're hiding and take it right to our website and make that and push them to our website so that they see the message that we have crafted that has been architected by the same type of person. Any questions from the chat? And there's only 2 or 3. Okay, cool. I must be doing a
Feel
really
free
good
to,
job.
for our virtual participants, feel free to drop any questions you might have in the chat and I will
There you go.
facilitate.
Another thing to think about is unique traffic. Okay. There are things called bots. Okay. Google bots. It's all sorts of things that crawl your website that look like visitors. Okay. I was just in a presentation in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, actually last week, and I asked somebody just randomly, how many visitors you get a month. Now this is a contractor, a very specific niche. Okay, 1,500. We get 1,500 people to our website. So really, you think so? So yeah. I bet you it's a lot less than that. She says, why? He says, have you filtered out the bots? What do you mean bots? They're bots. They actually hit your website and they trigger visitors on your Google Analytics. And most of them are Google. And so you get this inflated number. So there is a setting in Google Analytics that you can click in the settings. You can Google it too. All you have to do is Google how to filter bots in analytics. And it'll give you I don't have to tell you today, that's what you do, okay? With that said, I wish I would have had a discussion after, she probably would have from 1,500, probably down to about 100 to 150. Because the majority of those for such a small niche business are not getting as much, right? Mm-hmm. Right? That's why we started with 100 and not 1,000, okay? Now, your conversion rate here, when we're looking at our conversion rate, when we're only talking about 126 or 100 here, That's only two. Two people coming to your website's not gonna tell you whether or not your website's working. Okay, as far as to get these two conversions right here, just by giving 100 and then you don't get at least 2 or 1 person in there, it's still not enough. I know statistically it looks like it should be, but really this percentage is based on when you have more like 500 to 1,000. So it might take you a few months to get that, because what's going to happen is this: that first month you get 100, right? 100 visitors. Let's just use that as a round number, okay? And 0 people come, okay? But the second month you get that comes up to 200 over 2 months. Nope, 0 came, right? But what about the third month when a total of 300, and then all of a sudden, because maybe it's a seasonal thing, maybe it's just timing, because only 5% of your target market is in the market at any given time, okay? And you don't know where that's at and how it works, right? So maybe here all of a sudden we get 2. Okay, now that's not enough, right? We know that now we got 2 out of 300 total. Even though we got 2 out of that 100 for the month, we only got 2 out of a total of 300, right? So this is not hitting that 2%. Remember, averages are less than 1.5% for most industries. A lot less for insurance. It takes a lot of people to convert even a good website. Why is that? Let's dive into that. Is everybody good with how this got deconstructed and put back together?
Yeah, like
Yes.
it.
Okay, beautiful. Now let's talk about why it takes so many people to get that traffic. You have 4 types of intent. Remember, and we're gonna go through this because the majority of your folks are coming through either paid traffic or organic traffic. Okay. If you're doing a paid traffic for, say, display, just display, your average click-through rate is less than 1% on a good campaign. I run campaigns all the time. We get excited when we get a 0.4% click-through rate. Okay, it's a lot of people, right? I gotta get 1,000. I gotta get 2,000 people to see my ad to get 1 person to my website, because the click-through rate's from the ad to your website. Okay, so that meant, so if we're just gonna use the 1% for round numbers, but I'm trying to get, remember, we're trying to get to 100 people. Okay, so out of those 100, to get 100, that means I need 1,000 people. Is that 1,000? Is 1%? No, 10,000 is 1%, right? Yep. 10,000 people have to see the ad to get 100 visitors. Did I do the math right? Yeah. Yep. Minus there. Yep. That's right. Okay. 1%. 100 visitors. Right? So that means I gotta get it. And we were looking at roughly 300 visitors really to start seeing whether or not a conversion rate is going to be good, right? So that means I need 30,000 views to get 300 visitors. Sure, that math starts getting big, right? This right here in your conversion rate, when we're looking at the, say, the 2%, even if we had 2% of all 300 of those, is only 6 people. 6 contact forms. 30,000 views to get 6 at best. But remember, we said 1%. So actually in this math here, it's only 3 people reaching out to you. How many people do you have to talk to before you get a new client as far as inquiries go? How many phone calls do you take for new quotes?
Taking the phone calls coming in.
Yeah, so yeah, somebody asks for a quote. How many quotes do you give before somebody buys?
It kind of depends on the month, normally about 20%.
20%, okay. So if we had 20% of, whoops, not that one. So 20% of 3 is not quite 1, right? Yeah.
Less than one.
It's less than 1, right? So that means we need to get closer to 12. No, was it 20% of 3, 3 times 2, 6. We need 6, which means we need to get this up to 60,000 impressions so that we can get 600 people, so we can get 6 people to contact you so you can get 1 sale.
Woohoo. Well, there are billions of people, man.
Right? It's amazing, right? Okay.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. So this is why when people advertise, they think that their numbers are bigger. But I'm using a fat number at 1% and bringing that all the way down to a pretty, she's probably right on, about average 1 out of 5. Good leads are going to come and buy whatever you got. Okay. Some people are down at the 10% mark. So double this up again. Okay. 120,000. We're going to need 1,200 people so that we can get 12 people and to get 1 sale. Okay. So the numbers are astronomical when we start talking about what actually sells, because the visitors by themselves and the views by themselves don't mean anything if nobody buys. Okay. So this gets expensive, right? Because if we look at 60,000, I have my calculator right here. And we say the average cost is $35 per 1,000. Divide that by, I'm sorry, 30. Is about $1,700 to get 60,000 impressions. So it's actually, no, I take that back. It's $35 per 1,000. So it's going to be 60 divided by 35. I did my math wrong. That's going to cost us roughly $17 to get that sale. Sorry, I did that wrong too. Jeez Louise. Excuse me, it's $1,800. Okay. Because I gotta get 60 of them times 35 is actually more than 1,800 bucks. Okay. Is that going to be cost effective for her at we said $150, right? So it took $150. So that means that if we use that math and we use the standard stuff there, we said it was $1,800. So we took $1,800 to get them. That was your cost of acquisition. We divide that by the $150 a month. It's going to take her a year before we see a return on our investment.
Got it.
Okay. In insurance, that's probably okay. Right? The insurance company's like, they're going to be here for more than 12 months. So they're willing to spend a lot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My acquisition costs, I have to look at my time, right? Not just ads, right? I do stuff like this right here and give. And then every once in a while, somebody goes, yeah, I like what that guy's talking about. Maybe we should work with him.
Yeah.
But I got to take a look at my time to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to record this. We're going to put it on YouTube. We're going to do all these things, right? And we're going to get organic traffic. Yay, woo-hoo. Okay. The great thing about organic traffic is we know that they have an intent. Now, in organic traffic, in search traffic, we have 4 types of intent. We have informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional. Okay. Info, nav, com, and transactional. Okay. Informational, somebody look something up. Okay. When was the iPhone invented? That's informational, right? Do you think they're in a position of buying anything if they're informational?
Not so much.
Not so much. There might be in a research, like, oh, what I want to understand more about an iPhone, all that good stuff, right? Okay, so this is a research mode. That's their intent, is research. Okay. Navigational. I did some research on the iPhones and I'm going to apple.com, right? That's navigational. I'm making a search and I'm finding something. Now, this could be a transactional intent, right? Or it could be returning to somewhere they have already bought.
Some kind of filter going on.
Yeah, there's all that. So we don't know if this is going to be money or not. Okay, we could be doing more. We could be doing one of these three things right here in the navigational. Okay, so we don't really count that as much, but we definitely want, this is where your name and info better rank. Because if they're looking for you and you don't show up, guess who it is?
Somebody else.
Who? Your competition. Okay. I'm gonna get to that. Make sure that I don't lose that because I'm gonna give you a stat on that one here in just a second. Okay, so commercial. Now we are comparing things. Right? Which one's better, the Android or the iPhone? Right? Now we're making decisions. Now we're further down into the sales funnel, right? If you've ever seen a sales funnel, if you don't know what a sales funnel is, it is the value journey, is the customer journey between not being aware and they're going to be aware, which you usually find out through navigation or info. Okay, they have consideration. I'm sorry, they're going to have research, aware, research, and you're not going to be able to read that. I'm sorry. Then they're going to be on consideration, and then they're going to buy. Okay, this is a simplified one. You can see these in various, depending on who you're talking to. But really, all I want you to see is that you're going from awareness to buying decision. Okay, same thing with your intents. Awareness, and then we're going to say consideration is your commercial. It's your comparison. Okay, buying is your transactional. Where to buy an iPhone. Okay, all of that right there are types of traffic going to maybe a search engine. Okay, now this is the thing with search engines. Only 5% of all websites will show up on the first page. 71% of the click-throughs on the organic traffic come from the top 3.
That even 5% even seems high.
5% of all websites will show up on the top 10. 71% of those click-throughs are coming in the top 3. Okay. So your intent is going to decide whether or not your traffic is what traffic you want, right? The further down you can get somebody in their process of buying, the better. Okay. Now, some people have ways of taking the research process and then nurturing that person down to the buying process. If you have that, that's great. You want to then rank for terms that are more research oriented while also doing things transactionally and commercially. Okay. You want to look at those all. You really want all the intents to be covered. But if I'm going to start from 0, I'm starting down here. Especially if I'm a local business. Especially if I'm a plumber that does emergency services. Right? Stuff like that, right? Okay. And you work your way up. Okay. But let's say that there are, now let's do the math on this one. Okay. So let's use plumbers. Okay. I'm going to give a round number. And let's say there are 1,000 people who are going to certain, that's probably too much for a local plumber, especially in Springfield.
I don't know, the sewer system is pretty old here.
Let's say it's 500 then. Okay, we'll give it a nice big number. Okay, so 500 are searching for that. That's a transactional, right? For emergency plumber. I'm just going to say plumber, but you guys know that I'm saying emergency plumber. Okay, so if you're ranked number 1, you're going to get roughly 33% of that traffic, which is 165. Okay. Now, when we're talking about transactional searches, oops, why did you do $165? Okay. 165 visitors, right? Now, when we're talking about organic traffic and a transactional intent, this number here, the conversion rate, goes way up, right? But even then, say 10%, which is gonna be fat, is still 16.5 inquiries, okay? Out of those, you're still only gonna have 1 out of 5 because you might not have the trucks. It might not be in your area. They might have a problem you don't solve. They don't like your visit charge that you come to, all of the things, okay? But still, out of 1.6, 20% of that, at 10%, or I'm sorry, yeah, so we have those, and we have, say, 50%, you still get 8. Right? Say half of them say, okay, or you can't get there fast enough, okay? But still, it's pretty good, right? Out of one term that gets 500, it's probably not that high here, but, okay? But we can rank for a lot of different keywords, right? So this can get really big, really fast, okay? That's where being very specific on what you're wanting to handle calls for. How many people answer the phone in the sales side for your company?
Me.
Right, 1. So if your boss set you up for a bunch of search terms that are in the info and the commercial side of things, okay, that tripled, quadrupled this, right? And you were getting 8 calls an hour, would you be able to take them?
That'd be a lot of calls for
That'd be a
1
lot,
hour. but
for an hour, right? You won't be able to take all the calls, right? How many calls
By
can you?
any measure, right?
By any measure, right? I mean, one person can't take that many calls,
Yeah.
okay? Right? And this is just for, this right here is for a whole month, right? But if you start adding these up, you're gonna start getting more and more and more, right? So this is 8 in 1 month, okay? So that's pretty good. You need a lot more than 8 as a plumber. I promise you that, okay? Probably need 8 a day to make it worth your while. So that means I need 40,000, 4,000, sorry, traffic. I need to be ranking #1 for keywords that add up to 4,000 volume per month to get that 8 per day. Actually, that's gonna be 8, that's gonna be per week, okay? So we're gonna times that by 4. Now we need 16,000 volume out of all that to get enough for that plumber. Now how many do you need to sell in a day?
How many do I need to sell or how many do I want to sell?
How many do you want to sell in a day?
We'll go with 3 a day.
3 a day. So
3
you
a
need 15. So now we're gonna do some different math here on this. Everybody's good with the intent, right?
Yes.
All right, good. We got further than I was expecting to get. So you guys are getting bonus stuff.
It is interesting to think too with your funnel model, like where messages, where you really start to project your values into the equation and where you can,
Right.
steer people your way
Mhm.
for that reason alone.
Exactly. So now we're gonna go the other way. You want 3 a day. Okay, there are 20 work days in a month. So that means you want 60 sales. You told me that you have a 20% close rate, which means you have to take 300 calls. Which means we'll just go with a round number. We need 1,500 unique visitors, right? And we said if you were going to be, which means that I need at least 5,000 unique humans, search one. So that's 1,500 unique humans coming to get the 300 calls to get 60 sales in a month. Which means we need to rank #1. So we're going to rank #1 for 5,000. Okay. If we're in #2, this is interesting. Watch this. Rank #2, I'm going to need 6,250. If I rank #3, I'm going to need, #2, sorry. If I rank 3rd in that, for that same amount, I'm going to need 10,715. If I do anything less than that, so say I'm not in the top 3 at all, I'm getting the other ones there. So my click-through rates for the rest of that is roughly 5%. Oops. Comes out to 30,000. Do we see the value of being in the top 3?
Oh, yeah.
It's a big jump. You know, the second page only gets 2% of the views and clicks.
Oh, I believe it, yes.
Not just page 2, page 2 to 100.
Mhm. I feel like I'm wandering into like no man's like Wild West land when I go off the first page, and it's like I do, because I feel like kind of like, I feel like I have this like duty to sometimes, but it's like a rare occurrence.
You go off the deep end really fast. But just on the first page, right? This is 4 through 10. So if you're on the first page and somebody says, if you have an SEO comes to you and says, I'll get you on the first page, it's like, and anybody can get me on the first page. I need the top 3.
Mhm.
I need the top 3 in my most profitable keywords. Okay. You're going to pay. Remember we said $1,700 for this sale here.
Mhm.
Okay. We're going to spend $1,700 between $1,500 and $4,500 depending on the market and the service to get this. Which one's more profitable now?
Organic.
But do you know that only 1% of the people believe, the consumers believe, marketers, 62% of us believe that organic search is the most profitable marketing you can do. Okay. Right next to email marketing, but email marketing, you already have their contact and they're already engaged with you. Okay. This is for new traffic. Okay. This is the most profitable, in my opinion, the most profitable marketing you can do. Why? Because of intent. I can navigate their intent. I can meet them at their intent, and I can make the content match the intent. Because when they click on that search term that I ranked for, they're going to where I want them to go to because I ranked that page for that question.
You know, they're looking for something.
They're looking for an answer to that question because they're asking a question.
Yeah.
Now you're answering that question in a way that qualifies them to be somebody I want to be doing business with. Not all good businesses, not all business is good business, right? If the person's sitting there saying, well, I need the $50 thing, is that you get paid just as much, or no, you get paid, it takes you just as long to sign up a $50 account than a $189 account, correct?
Mhm.
And you get paid more for which one?
The $189 account.
So would you rather be talking to people who have more potential for 89 or 50?
89.
Right? What if I said you could sell twice as many, but you have to settle between 50 and 189? So say I said, you're going to get 60 sales, okay? But you're going to have to take 600 calls to get there.
I hope not a day because.
No, a month.
Okay, that's a little better.
Okay, but if you do it that way, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if your range is 50 to 189 and you did twice as many sales,
Mhm.
you're still gonna make less money and work twice as much. Because it takes you just as much time to do all of them,
Mhm.
right? So if my average between that right there, we said 50 to 189 is gonna give you right around $230-ish, no, $240. So that's gonna be $140. This is gonna be your average if you give the range, okay? $149, $40 versus 189, okay? So that is $50 difference, which is a 33% more revenue for the same, for half of the work.
Deal.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you talking and figuring out what this looks like is so important for this, because your message is going to attract the Y buyers, not the X buyers. Okay. Your organic, where you're getting in the search volume, these right here need to be the people looking for specifically that they're asking the questions that would lend them to be buying the Y objects. And it could be different things that add up to that 189.
Mhm.
Like, okay, we sell this insurance. And if they buy this insurance, or you're just gonna buy this, this, and this, that comes in 189 a month. We're just using that as a number, but you could use that though. You could literally take this right here, what we did right here, go back to your boss and say, boss, I want to put a package that gets us to $190 to $200 on average or basically on average, we sell $200 per sale per month, right? And he's gonna be able to look at that and go, yep, well, who is that? What are they buying? Well, boss, I'm showing you about 3 different things we can sell that if we package certain things for different uses would be the same. And all of them lend to about the same type of person. I'd like our marketing to be focused to that type of person so that I can have these 3 options that all equal about $200 and sell from there and sell down versus sell up.
Okay.
Right? Then his job, or whoever your marketing person is to get the traffic to that website talking about that are looking for those 3 options. And we simplified the process.
Yes, and it's very convincing too.
Yes.
It's scientific.
It is.
Okay, so we got really far into the weeds as far as numbers go. So some people who are listening to this later on, I apologize, but because you might just be listening to it, not seeing all the numbers that we put down
This is
here.
some of the funnest math I've done.
There you go.
At least
Right.
it makes sense.
Right, exactly. But it's like, you see all these zeros and you're like, one second, that sucks, right? But that's advertising versus marketing. Marketing is a magnet, things that draw people in. Advertising is a bullhorn.
Mm-hmm.
My parting message to you is get your marketing right before you pay for a bullhorn.
Well, I think it's useful to think of it, you know, with the like with the paid, it's kind of like you're just kind of bugging people while they're going about their day. And with like the organic, you're capturing people when they're in this active state of searching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just 2 completely different dynamics.
Right. Okay. So just so you guys know the numbers on the ranking, roughly 33% of the clicks on a search page, the first page of Google, will go to number 1. 24% go to number 2. 14% go to number 3, and roughly 5% go to 4 to 10. They share that 5%. That's really bad. Yeah.
As far as like search engine optimization goes, like what's a typical like turnaround in your experience of getting somebody into the top 3? Like what's the time and investment on that?
It's a long-term investment, right? Because it is close to anywhere between 6 and 12 months, depending on the industry, the area, and the competition in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. We say 6 to 8. We've seen people jettison to the first page in a month, just because of who the competition is and what they're doing. It's not necessarily that you have big competition, it's whether your competition's doing SEO.
Right.
They could just be ranking because you're not doing anything.
Exactly.
And now you start doing things and then they haven't really been doing anything. They do a lot of advertising, so they get a lot of traffic. They get the traffic and they're the only ones doing it. They're up, right? Now you start doing all the right things and they're not doing anything special.
There's a new solution in town.
Yep, exactly. So that's why I love organic. It's a long game. It's for owners, I'll be honest, it's hard to swallow. To sit there and say, shoot, I gotta spend on average $24,000 a year on that. And I don't know when that's gonna start paying dividends. But the great thing about organic is that it compounds upon itself. So last set of numbers. What time do we get?
102.
Oh, shoot, okay. All right. So what was I gonna say? Oh, okay. So say your first time you rank your first keyword, okay? And that got you 100 visitors, okay? This keyword here and you ranking for this is actually going to pull a bank of other keywords up with it. Maybe not to number 1, but it's helping. It's a magnet. It's helping up because Google's like, oh, you rank for that. Oh, there's some similar keywords. You're not quite ranking. You're not targeting, but they're ancillary, is what we call them, keywords that are going to pull them up. Okay. Then there's semantic keywords. Basically, they mean exactly the same, but they're different keywords. They go to number 1 or 2 or 3. okay, depending, okay? Great thing is this, now we have that one at number one, you're getting that 100 visitors per month from that one. Now this is very simplified because we don't just do one at a time, okay? But now we go the second keyword and we get another 100, okay? The work we're doing here is going to add to the work that we're doing here to solidify this one, and now you have 200, okay? You keep going, and then at some point, you're going to have as much, if not more, all of the traffic, okay? Now, at that point, you can sometimes take gas off, so you can spend less, but it's an ongoing cost, okay? So it'll happen, because this is why. Somebody else was number one first, and you just took their place. You think they're gonna go, oh, well, you know, they're nice people, we'll let them have it. You think that's gonna happen?
No.
What are they gonna do?
Probably try to get back in first place.
Right, it's called King of the Hill. Ever watch Billy Goats play King of the Hill? Right?
So cute.
4 little hoops on one little spot, and everybody wants it, right? And they're bucking each other back and forth, okay? And that's what happens, and that's why you want multiple keywords going on. But the thing is as you're adding and adding and adding, that volume we looked at before gets there, right? And then what happens is like 1 month, this will go down, and then something else will go up, right? And then they'll swap, right? And you'll have that back and forth because you're playing King of the Hill. Okay, it's a bunch of Billy Goats coming out for the top 3, right? You just need to be part of the 5%. Okay, the 5 Billy Goats that get to work for those top 3%. So as these are moving back and forth and you're adding to your list that are in the top 3, your volume will stay nice and steady so that you can get the traffic to your site nice and steady, so you can get the calls nice and steady, so you can get your income nice and steady. And that's where a lot of people have a misnomer, like, well, why don't I just pay for the $24,000 now and get all of the clients? Remember, only 5% at any given time are in the market. Once I spend $2,000 in ads, it's gone. 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, whatever it was that you spent, that 2,000, we did figure out $1,700 that one sale, okay? That's because all of that, it doesn't go anywhere, right? But if I get this 100 here, the next month, even though I'm not paying attention to this, I'm paying attention to the next other words that are coming up, this one's still working for me. That investment continues to work for you in the organic space. And the more you win, the harder it is to get your hooves off of the pole position. It's sticky, okay? You could even take a month off and still get traffic, okay? I have an old website. It's been around a long time. This doesn't happen anymore, but I have an old website that still gives me leads I haven't touched in 8 years.
Perfect.
Every week I get leads from this website. I haven't touched it in 8 years.
There's something to be said for that initial scramble when you're starting a business and getting out there in front.
That's it. That's all I got, guys.
Thank you so much, Buzz. That was really exciting and really enlightening. And thank you so much for our virtual participants showing up. Sorry, the audio wasn't working too good. Yeah, Buzz wrote a book called The Rule of 26.
Yes.
You know, dive even deeper in this, so make sure that you're all aware of that. And what's your website again, Buzz?
For the book is ruleof26.com. And you can check my digital marketing services, including SEO, at buzzworthy.biz.
Excellent. Thanks again. Have a good day, everyone.